Hey, so we're moving on to the next lesson. We are going to talk about the artist Georgia O'Keeffe today. For this lesson, you are going to need a piece of white paper, a pencil, and something to color with. I would suggest pencil colors. I used pencil colors for my example because I have a big variety pack, and so it offered me lots of different shades of each color. You can use whatever you have at home if you have crayons or markers. So we're going to talk about Georgia O'Keeffe. She was born in 1887 and died in 1986, and she was actually known as the mother of American modernism. She actually taught art for a while, and during that time period she was discovering her different types of skills and her style. She was really embracing what she loved to do. All throughout her career, she painted flowers and leaves. She also painted cityscapes and landscapes, and she did a large variety of paintings of bones. Some of her paintings of flowers are recognizable as flowers, while others are almost as if she zoomed in on the flower as she was painting it, and it almost becomes distorted, and it's kind of hard to tell what it is. And the painting that we are going to be inspired by today is one of those zoomed in flower paintings. It is an example of symmetry and offers us the opportunity to talk about space. So for this lesson, we are going to talk about a few of the elements of art. We're going to talk about line, space, and color. So we're going to go ahead and get started. To get started, you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. And the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to fold our paper in half. Going back to those elements of art, one of the elements of art is space. Space has to do with the sizes of object, how much space they take up on your paper, but it also has to do with the space around your object or even within the object. And it also coincides with symmetry. Now, symmetry is when, if you divide something in half, it's the same on one side as it is on the other. So we're going to be creating symmetry in this piece. We don't want it to necessarily be exactly the same on both sides, but we do want it to have that sense of symmetrical balance. So we're going to start by drawing some curvy lines, and we want to take up most of the space on our paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start near the bottom of my paper, near the middle, and I'm going to draw some curvy lines kind of going out towards the edges. These are going to become the petals for our flower. And once you have the petals done for one side, you're going to do the same thing on the other side, going the opposite way. Now, to finish with the line drawing portion of this, all we need to do is sort of fill in the middle. And we're basically just going to be creating more curvy lines to create petals on the inside. I am also going to add a couple of curvy lines down at the bottom to take up some of this negative space on the sides. Now that we have all of our lines drawn, we're going to talk about color because that's the next step. In art, there is a color wheel, and along with the color wheel, there are different color schemes. There are complementary colors, and complementary colors are found directly across from one another on the color wheel. So red and green are complementary colors. And there are many different types of color schemes, but the one that we're going to be talking about today is analogous. An analogous color scheme is three colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So going back to the color wheel, if you look at yellow, green, and blue, those three colors are next to each other on the color wheel. Therefore, they are analogous colors. Those are the three colors that I am choosing to color my flower. You can choose any three analogous colors that you would like. But I'm going to go through and pick out all of the yellows, all of the shades of green, and all of the shades of blue. That way I have a lot of options moving forward. The last step of this lesson is to color your Georgia O'Keeffe inspired flower. So what I would suggest doing is picking 2 to 3 shades of a color in your hand. So I'm going to go yellowish green, and then yellow and a green. So I have 3 of the colors that I picked out. And I'm going to start with my darkest color first at the bottom of the petal, and then I'm going to move to the middle color and then to the lightest. And as I'm coloring up the petal, I'm going to change from my darkest to my medium to my lightest. Blending these colors is going to offer some depth to your flower and make it look a little bit more realistic and not just one solid color for each petal. So let's get started coloring. Okay, so at this point I am done. I have gone through and I have used all of my blue and green and yellow pencil colors, and I have completely colored the entire piece of paper using this analogous color scheme. And I have created a flower drawing inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and I can't wait to do another.